What's up, buddy? The more I let things blur, like the less I section off parts of my life or parts of the week or parts of the month or parts of the day and say they're for specific things, the more things just kind of seem to be, which is good. I guess that's a way to, I guess anytime you're separating something and designating it as different than something else, it feels more and more layery, restricty, I guess. Like I used to always use Saturday for errands. So if I needed something during the week, I had this rule that, I'm not leaving the house after 7 p.m. I've got to be sitting down at a certain time. I want to do this activity for these 2 hours, blah, blah. I did that all the time, and then if something happened and it didn't work out, I'd be pissed. And then I'd just be mad for a long time, like hours. The whole night's ruined, whole day's ruined, everything's fucked up. No, it's not. It just didn't match your pre-made up expectations, which is almost always going to be a disappointment because you never know what's up and you can't. It's like at work today, we were interviewing a manager trainee, and some of my feedback was that for me, one of the biggest pitfalls of a leader especially is thinking they're going to get specific things done in a day and nothing's ever going to happen to throw that off. Because I don't think if there's any days like that, that's the outlier. But they feel like that every day should be like that, and there should be no days when things get interrupted. And so they get mad every day. I'm like, you can't change what kind of shit gets thrown at you at work, but you can stop being so hard and fast attached to your idea of how the workday should go. If you're a manager, sure, you've got baseline activities you probably do daily and monthly, but in general, you're a keep it running, deal with what comes up person. But everybody can look at work that way. You have certain tasks that are baseline, but there's always going to be other situations. So why should you expect that there won't be when that's the most common scenario? At least in all my jobs. The most common scenario is that things came up. Well, they always threw me off because I didn't want things to come up, and I got mad when things came up. I already had my plans. Well, I think we all know what plans do. Well, anyway, just turning that upside down and going in knowing that if nobody interrupts me today, that's an outlier. That's going to be a gift. Or I'll appreciate that occurrence, but I won't even say a gift. It just is what it is. But if things do interrupt, that's work. It's not a bad day. It's not a strange day by any means at work, at least not in my jobs. It never has been. It's a typical day. It's a work day. So how dare we think that there's not going to be anything come up at work that's unexpected? Just thinking that alone is going to put you at risk of every day being blown to bits. When I started just showing up, identifying 1 to 2 things that I perhaps must get done that day, that I will focus on one at a time. I don't work on more than one thing at a time because I saw in my experience that was less efficient, even though it feels like you're doing more. I think we feel like the more our attention's divided, that we're just covering so much and you can't stop us. And no, just focus on what's in front of you and you'll do much better at it and you'll enjoy it more. And then if you're prioritizing and focusing on those most important things, then when you get interrupted, it's still not as disruptive as if you were trying to work on 3 or 4 different things at once. Talk about trying to get reoriented after an interruption. That's stressful. I don't know. There's just so much that goes into it, but it did all, as always, come back to I just had to change what I expected to happen at work. Why should I be shocked that crazy shit happens at work? Why should I be shocked that if I'm not the highest leader, and the highest leader might do shit that I don't like, but I don't want to be the leader of the company, then, well, if you don't want to make those decisions, then you may not like some of the ones somebody else makes. Well, as long as it's not going to get you in jail, it'll get your paycheck. Just take care of it. Well, I didn't do that for a long time. I railed and resisted and hollered and fussed and gathered together allies and rallied the troops to be against everybody else, and I didn't accomplish anything. I'm not saying that there's not going to be situations where there's an obvious grand injustice and people will work together to reverse. That's different, but that's not every day at work. Let's just be real about it. It's just not. So anyway, as always, work for me now is I agree to perform certain tasks during a certain period of time, during certain days of mine. And so I just take care of them. And when I'm done, I'm done. And I don't sleep with it. I don't think about it at night. I don't work late at night unless it's an absolute, honest to God, presidential red letter emergency, which has not happened in 2 years. But if it did, I would work. But that's not a common thing either. Now, somebody might act like every single thing they touch is a siren emergency. Oh, how timely. But we all know that's perspective, is not reality as well. If there's an actual emergency at work, you're going to know, and you're going to know it's an emergency. It's not going to be a question or an opinion. So, yeah. So I don't work when I'm done. Did I used to be that way? Nope. Not a bit. I work 1 a.m. on a Friday, 5 p.m. on a Saturday, be working on Sunday night. I just stopped, got more efficient. And I don't do that anymore. And guess what? Did my performance decrease? Did they notice I wasn't doing all that work that so many people think is necessary and all these extra hours that so many people think are necessary? No, I got an award from my CEO this year. I got an award. And